Hey, I want to discuss the latest Lese Majeste case in Thailand. If you followed my channel for a while, you may know that I've made a few videos on the subject of Lese Majeste. It's something I'm very concerned about because it's something that I've seen the effects of, not necessarily firsthand, but it's something I've spent a lot of time thinking about, and I know people who have been persecuted by this law. So I do have very strong views on it. Anyway, in the latest case, just to provide a bit of context if you don't know, Thailand is inferior constitutional monarchy, but in reality it has the world's strictest so-called lèse majesté laws, coming from the French insult to majesty. And it basically means anybody in Thailand perceived to insult the majesty, that is the monarchy, whether it be the king, his family, or apparently, according to this case, historic figures as well, then they can be imprisoned for up to 15 years. In some cases, it's even been up to 20 years. Added to this is a real risk of violence from fanatical Thai royalists. So it's a very grave situation regarding basic democracy, human rights, and freedom of speech. So in this case, the defendant is an 84-year-old man by the name of Sulak Sivaraksa. He's a historian, and he has attracted this charge because he has questioned the official version of apparently a well-known story. And in the story, according to the mainstream pro-royalist retelling, the Thai king Naraswan challenged the Burmese crown prince Ming Yi Swa to a duel in 1593 on elephant back. Now, at the time, in this part of Asia, elephants were widely used in warfare. So it's a popular story, and in the story, the Thai king killed the Burmese prince. Well, Mr. Sivaraksa has questioned this version of events, and he's been researching it and has published his findings. And now he's been accused of breaking lèse majesté because it questions the official military approved royal version of events. I say military approved, that's very important because the current military dictatorship, and that's what it is backed by the monarchy. Of course, events have been very dramatic in Thailand in recent years. King Bhumibol Adulyadej passed away last year. He was the world's longest reigning monarch. Just over a year ago, he's been lying in state for a year, and the official period of mourning has lasted right up to, well, basically yesterday. Um, and according to this link I'm reading, the case comes just before the cremation of Thailand's widely revered King Bhumibol later this month. This would have been published a few weeks ago, but Mr. Sulak said he was not sure why the charges had been revived. Well, this is appalling. Um, Even if the military is to say that his version is wrong, um, the fact that you can have academics being jailed for up to 15 years, especially academics in their 80s, is barbaric. I've always felt that lèse majesté is barbaric. It's an absurd law for the 21st century. The situation in Thailand really does amount to a personality cult. King Rama X, Vajralongkorn, is not as revered as his father was, but clearly this lèse majesté culture continues. And it's sinister because very often these laws have been abused simply for political reasons or to get people can charge their neighbor with it if they have a dispute with their neighbor. Um, it's very, very unsettling. And it's not just that there is this situation where there is this blatant trampling of freedom of expression. You have a real personality cult whereby you get um, Thai royalists who are not afraid to use violence and use violent intimidation tactics against anyone who has Republican viewpoints. It's disgusting, quite frankly. I've seen what they're capable of. They've even exported this. There was a situation in Britain where a Thai Republican had her house attacked by Roy, this cards because they didn't like what she was saying about the royal family. The fact of the matter is, you cannot have a true democracy when such basic freedom of expression is crushed. So I'm going to leave this video comment section open. But I will say this to any Thai royalists who want to come on here. If you insult me, expect me to fight fire with fire. I don't respect the extreme way that you go about things. I believe this law is barbaric. If I ever go to Thailand, I will respect the law. But let's just drop the land of smiles image. Thailand, in many ways, is anything but the land of smiles for dissidents, and the persecution that is taking place under Lese Majeste laws is an abomination. In my opinion, if Thailand wants to call itself a democracy, it needs to revise or abolish these hideous Lese Majeste laws. They they're absurd. If the royal family is all almighty, why do they need these laws to protect them? Tell me that. It's totally absurd. And as for the situation in the UK, we obviously don't have Lese Majeste laws here, but I will say this: I'm not a Republican, but I will always staunchly defend the right of Republicans to have their viewpoint. And any royalists in Britain who thinks this is okay, you've got a problem. This is not okay. This is a brutal attack on basic human rights. And in my opinion, the British government should be putting pressure on our Thai counterparts um, over this. If we're doing trade with Thailand, if we are in, as I understand it, close relations with Thailand, this is something that we cannot turn a blind eye to. Um, so, yeah, you cannot be a democracy and trample basic freedom of expression like academics debating history. It's just plain wrong. I'll put a link to this case, and I think it's a complete disgrace. I hope Mr. Sivaraska is given a royal pardon. Often royal pardons are given for foreigners, but for Thai nationals, the penalties are often a lot harsher. But this just shows what a cruel and hideous situation this is, and it saddens and angers me.